Bitcoin's alive, what you gon' do? Mempool fees are high. Ordinal. Where does it stop? Nobody knows. It's a revolution, ayy. Bitcoin is the one, no substitution, ayy. With Shizzy and Yagobi, it's Ordinal Revolution.
Welcome back to Ordinal Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin Ordinal ecosystems. What's up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We have a special interview. We get the team from Orange. We have Damon Nam. He's absolutely amazing person. We're just talking to him. We can't wait to showcase him, guys. He's going to be building here. And what I was just saying to him was kind of lines of, we have to really support our builders here. Our builders mean everything to us here, and that's what we do here at Ordinal Revolution. We want to showcase the people that are building the tooling and building everything that we're going to need to be a successful ecosystem. And that is what the show is going to be all about. It's going to be about Orange and what they're building, their team, and we're very excited to get into that. So without further ado, let's get this thing started and bring in my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What is up?
Yeah, man.
What is up?
So what can you tell me about Orange? What do you know before we dig in with Damon?
Yeah, I remember when Orange kind of busted on the scene. It was maybe a little bit towards the end of the last BRC20 run up, or maybe in the middle. But it was a utility project, and at that point, we had, for the first time, seen an array of utility projects come through. And whenever we saw Orange, we saw a friend of ours, I think it was Serge, talking about it as well, and kind of backing it. And we said, well, Serge has been in the space, he's an OG, and let's give it a look. And we did, and we got some because felt like it was like a smart play. And then they were talking about this wallet that they're going to build, right? And basically there was a lot of just like energy around this project. And obviously building a wallet is not an easy task, right? And so it takes time. You got to make sure, tons of testing, because wallet actually, in my opinion, has to have like the highest level of security, right? And so it did take some time to get through that. And it looks like that time has arrived to where they did the launch, and checking it out, it looks really clean from first glance, right? But I'm ready to dive deeper into it and talk to Damon, really. And he's the CEO of the company, I believe. And so, just kind of where their thoughts were in terms of deciding to go into a wallet type product, and what they see for the future of Orange.
And they're not just a wallet, right? They're building a lot more than that. They got AI assistant. They have, potentially a swap. I can't wait to get into that with him, or some type of marketplace, which would be absolutely amazing right in the wallet. But yeah, without further ado, let's bring him in. Damon Nam, man, welcome to the show.
What's up, Shizzy? What's up, Yagobi? Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
All right, man, we'll dig right into it. On the show, we obviously love talking about projects. We can't wait. But we need to know about the person behind the projects, right? Because projects are awesome, but we like to really get to know the person and everything like that. So you can kind of give us your background far back as possible and bring us up to your crypto journey.
Yeah, for sure. So I started off my career in corporate, and immediately following college, I jumped in and I worked at Microsoft for a very long time, for about 17 years. Primarily on the business side of the house. So always had like business management roles and stuff like that. I started getting into crypto about 2013 or so, but nothing serious, right? So I remember at the time crypto was, or Bitcoin was between $100, $200. And I was just kind of exploring it, had heard about it in the past and wanted to start taking a look at it, and started kind of dabbling around, playing around with even mining, etc. And then in 2017, I got really serious and involved in it and decided to leave Microsoft. So I recruited a good friend of mine who worked at Microsoft as well, 10 years, more technical, or on the technical side. And he became our CTO. And we both left the company, became full-time founders in blockchain. And we started a company, and for the past 7 years or so, had just been developing a number of different solutions in this space, mostly on the infrastructure side. So wallet, exchange technology, etc. We did our own technology, as well as even help consulted projects to launch, and even develop technology for other companies. So we've developed tech for companies such as Republic in New York, as well as even Binance. So we've actually built some tech for them. Yeah, it was a fun project. It was primarily for Binance US, but anyhow, we worked with their teams extensively on this effort. And over the past year, we've been more focused just kind of on our own effort and thesis. And so we launched Orange, kind of looking back at DeFi summer, seeing how explosive that was and the potential to be able to do some really creative things with this asset class with crypto. And at that point, we thought to ourselves, okay, this is kind of interesting because Bitcoin's still the gold standard. And we felt that at some point, every solution that was being deployed on Ethereum and all these other alternative chains could eventually come to the gold standard. So we knew Bitcoin was going to have its day in the future, especially as there was ETF applications, more institutional adoption. And that time is actually hitting now, right? So over the past year, we've seen tons of energy and excitement with Bitcoin. And that was really how Orange started. It was with the thesis that, Bitcoin's still always going to be the first asset class that people usually have when they come into crypto. It's always going to be the gold standard. And there needs to be more infrastructure to be able to support everything that's going on. And at some point, there's going to be experimentation, similar to what I mentioned with DeFi Summer on Ethereum. And it's starting to occur. So at Orange, we wanted to be the infrastructure layer for all of this tooling and development and experimentation that's going on. And that was really our thesis on why we started it. And so we've been on this journey now for over a year, and we've started to release an ecosystem of products and services that really kind of help support the Bitcoin ecosystem and all the meta protocol and development that's coming about.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was just taking a look at the wallet, and I know that we'll get into the wallet more extensively in a bit, but it looks like your approach to that was to not just focus on one part of Bitcoin's ecosystem like Ordinals, but also to have an open door for side chains like Stacks, because I'm seeing that on here, or BSV as well. So was your mind kind of like, okay, look, Ordinals is really cool. It's new technology, all this stuff. But, I'm looking at this from a bigger perspective, from a wallet perspective of every effective builder in Bitcoin's ecosystem. We want to have that door available. Is that your thought process on that? Or what was it if it wasn't?
Exactly. Yeah. I think you're looking at a very holistic and thoughtful way as well. So that was our approach. Obviously, we wanted to be able to support Bitcoin as the gold standard. But then from there, with all of this development and experimentation going on, there needs to be infrastructure that helps support all these builders and these new meta protocols that are coming about. And if you look at the current landscape, and even when we started a year ago, there's really not a household name when you think about a wallet or a lot of tools that support Bitcoin. And so we've been striving to become that recognized name or that recognized brand to be able to support all of this development. So yeah, we've slowly started integrating all of these meta protocols. We started off with Bitcoin, obviously Ordinals, super hot, supported them, and are expanding out to support BRC20s. We have direct lines of access, even with Domo. We're working with the TAP protocol team, and we're going to be integrating that within the wallet soon. And we just want to continue supporting and helping other builders, because at the end of the day, the reality is what we're seeing in the market: tons of development, tons of excitement. There's new standards and meta protocols that are being developed. Runes just popped off not too long ago. We'll probably see, another dozen before the end of the year. And tokens are being launched on each one of these meta protocols and standards, right? And there needs to be wallets that help support these tokens and these builders and all these projects. And so we want to be one of the leading providers that can help do that. We're working directly with some of even the creators of these meta protocols to make that happen.
Yeah, that's amazing that you're working with TAP, because we heard that Xverse was working with them, and then something happened where they kind of took their attention to Runes, and we believe that TAP's going to be one of the biggest ecosystems here. So the fact that you guys kind of stepped in maybe and are attacking that portion of the ecosystem is absolutely amazing. Have you spoken with Benny and those guys over there?
Yeah. So those guys are dope. Not only are they building, but great guys to work with. We're working with directly with him, his team. We even had a chance to meet them in person as well. So when they
Nice.
were at Token 2049, we had an event here that we hosted. They swung by and had a chance to meet some of their team. Yeah, great to work with. And I've heard about the whole situation with Xverse and whatnot. And, we're very open to collaborating and working with all types of builders in the space to really accelerate and expand the space further. Right. So, yeah, we're working directly with them and really excited to I think we'll probably end up launching the integration within the next couple months here.
Wow.
Nice. Nice. I have a question. So let's go back. You said 2017 is when you went in pretty much full time. From then until you decided, okay, we're also going to have our footprint in the Bitcoin ecosystem a year ago. Before that, was it primarily like the EVM side of things that you guys dabbled in?
Yeah, primarily, right? So 2017, Ethereum and Ethereum EVMs were super hot, smart contracts, the land of the ICOs, and then that just continued to evolve. And um, DeFi got super hot around I think 2020 or 2021. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, we are mostly focused on the Ethereum side of the house, and it once DeFi summer came about, that's when it kind of really hit us to think, okay, well, what happened to Bitcoin, right? All this energy
Yeah.
is going towards the Ethereum EVMs. It's what started all of this energy and excitement, and so we knew at some point it was going to have its day again, and it looks like it's happening now.
Yeah. And I asked that question to kind of follow up with this is that the way your wallet looks, because I'm looking at it right now, is that, and what you just said before this question was that you guys are supporting all these meta protocols. I've had this theory in my mind that this is going to be a multi-meta protocol ecosystem until maybe like the op codes come back, and that could take however long, and then smart contract capabilities are here. But even then, there might have been like ecosystems built out for a period of time to where they have their own paths and stuff like that. So is that the thought process for you guys as well, or you or in your team, is that the Bitcoin ecosystem is going to be a multi-meta protocol ecosystem, this run at least starting into it, and that's why you guys are covering all of those different meta protocols?
Yeah, 100%. So obviously we love crypto in general and what it stands for, and I've been a huge fan of Ethereum and all this other building in general, just because when we think about the underlying concept of crypto, it kind of goes against um, the notion. Well, it goes with the notion of self sovereignty and freedom and
Hmm.
being able to transact with ease and cross border, all that stuff, right? But when we think about where we believe the future is heading, and I'm sure you guys have heard this before, right? ETH was a test net and all that stuff.
Hmm.
We actually we're in that camp as well. So not to say or discourage, any of the other great solutions and products and services that have been built in this space already, but we believe that the tooling for Bitcoin L1s, and even L2s is going to become more mature over the next few years. Um, the technology is becoming more advanced to the extent to where if you can transact natively on Bitcoin L1 and still be able to achieve the same type of performance, scalability, interoperability, working natively on that chain, or maybe at max L2s, then what's the point of maybe a lot of the previous development that happened on Ethereum or Ethereum EVMs, right? Especially as we think about institutions adopting and the average consumer, what they say like 5% of the world has only adopted crypto. So
Hmm.
let's say the next 95% adopt crypto, they jump into Bitcoin. If the solutions are mature enough for them to transact natively, or stay within the Bitcoin ecosystem, what are the chances that they're actually going to bridge over and maybe work on Aptos or, so we think that the future will continue to reside kind of on the gold standard, And so that's why our thesis and our focus is primarily just focused on the Bitcoin ecosystem itself. We might extend functionality to be able to do some cross-chain things with Ethereum EVMs in the future. For example, we have a bridge that we just released in beta here, but that would be kind of the extent of our support of things outside of the Bitcoin ecosystem. But yeah, we truly believe in the potential of what's happening now with all the meta protocols and everything that could potentially have on Bitcoin L1. And so we really want to just kind of focus in that area.
Interesting. Yeah, man. So let's kind of jump back to like the Ordinal. So you Ordinals comes out February 2023, or January 2023. It depends on how early you guys were. When did you guys get in, and when did you think about building over here and kind of leaving the EVM world?
Yeah, so we jumped in right before BRC 20s popped off. So there's kind of been two big waves for BRC 20s. And the first one was about last April, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we started going down this path. It was it was about late January of last year. And then from there, we saw the excitement with BRC 20s. Ordinals was already kind of popping off at the time. And so those are the kind of milestones that got us really excited and wanting to be able to support the space, and then seeing kind of the potential of not only potential from a technology perspective, but potential from like community adoption and hype and all that, right? Because once people found out that you can have essentially like NFTs, or you can have additional data attached to, a particular block on a chain or whatever, it generated a lot of excitement. And so that's where we saw a lot of collections come about and whatnot, and that's what really got us interested as well. So around that time frame.
Awesome. And so you basically you guys choose to build here. Everything's happening. Could you kind of give us a rundown of like the team and what everyone's like job titles are and everything?
Yeah. So we're a global team of up to 15 now. So we've been adding folks
Wow.
on over the past few months. Yeah, we're still small, but super proud of the team and the path we're taking, as well as how fast that we're actually producing as well. So we're global, highly distributed. We have folks all over the place. The majority of our concentration is in the U.S. And that's where I'm actually originally from as well. I recently moved out to Dubai because the ecosystem is just growing rapidly out here. And my wife, she lives out here as well. So I met her on an Emirates flight, and so I'm out here permanently now.
Oh,
But
wow.
yeah.
So by choice, but kind of not by choice, but at the same time, it works out great because it's a nice place and
Exactly.
a crypto hub.
What 100%. Yeah, no, definitely transformed my life. And it just happened to work out because the ecosystem is growing so rapidly out here. And so we're actually looking to develop our base out in this area, because they're obviously very technology forward. They're a great hub for the Middle East, Asia, Europe, and even the US. There's tons of events that go on here all the time. And so, it happens to be a great place for us. So our CTO, we have two CTOs, right? We have one that's responsible and focuses more on infrastructure. His name is Dimitri, and he actually has experience working at Amazon, etc. He's actually in the process of relocating to Dubai as well. Our other CTO is focused solely on development. And so he came from a background, he was previously a VP at Coinberry. He's worked at Oracle, and super strong in terms of development, whether it's Rust or Solidity, etc. And he leads our engineering team of developers when it comes to code sets and development. And he's in Canada. His name's Yiming. Our COO, his name's Kevin. He's actually in Dallas, Texas as well. So we'll have to link up next time we're in town.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, and then we have other operational folks, developers, and so on, all located all around the world in different countries.
Amazing. And it's kind of like being an American, like hearing that like Dubai is like the place to go for crypto. I mean, it's it's our government's fault, right? And at the end of the day, like we should be that. America should be the leader, have as we always were. But to see like it being a Dubai and being El Salvador and being these countries that are really taking it forward is it's kind of depressing as an American. But I'm just hoping that we can kind of fix things and be that crypto hub maybe one day.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're starting to recognize it now, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're seeing some major adoption, and I think what the government has done, and politicians and regulators have noticed is we can't be stopped, right? Crypto, blockchain, all of this energy and momentum, it can't be stopped. So it's either you continue to fight against it and you fall behind to the countries that are actually helping support it, or you enable it and you become a leader in the space. And so, uh, we're seeing even like Trump is accepting donations in crypto now, and he's been very pro crypto. And we're seeing other regulators and whatnot step in and voice that the same type of narrative. And so I think it's starting to happen. It's starting to shift and change. I mean, what we just had a bill approved recently that says
Yeah.
that we're going to build a framework around digital assets, right? So
Yep.
yeah, it's kind of sad to see the US kind of fall behind, but the good news is that they're so big and powerful, and they can catch up very quickly
Yeah.
if they choose to
100%.
do so. So, and even
Yeah.
lead for that matter. But yeah, it's the tides are turning, right?
I mean, to your
100%.
point, the greatest investor of our time, Nancy Pelosi, she just came out and voted. Right? She voted for this bill, right? So
Yes,
I mean,
yes,
obviously, she don't lose. So I mean, you can say what you want about her, but she's not arrested
yes,
and she's winning. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, to your
exactly.
point, she voted on a positive for a crypto bill, which definitely positive for
And
us.
I guarantee you, she bought before that vote.
I
Probably,
bet you did.
probably. That was actually a big tell, in my opinion, is whenever Pelosi voted for the Fit 21, that the people that have been in Washington for a long time, and I don't agree with the system and how the lobbyists and all that stuff work necessarily from a fundamental standpoint, but it is what it is. They're realizing that the change of guard is happening with like the power of capital influence, and this is the cycle that they're starting to see, when you have TradFi come in and stuff like that as well. So I agree. I think that major changes are happening and stuff like that. So I think it's a positive
Yeah,
note, and it's
which
good for
makes
the builders that moved away too, because now they don't have to be like fearful, like what I mean, like when they come back, and maybe in their mind they're like, oh, maybe I'll move back in like a certain amount of years, and it's just good overall, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, which makes it super bullish for the industry because, in theory, it should help continue to support builders in the space. There should be more jobs that come about from companies that, uh, continue to grow, especially in the U.S. And yeah, overall, the market, I think we're just scratching the surface, in my opinion, of what's going to happen. I think this next bull market is probably going to be, in my opinion, one of the most bullish bull markets that we'll have had in a while. And I strongly believe like the DeFi and Bitcoin narrative is going to be super strong as well.
Yeah,
100%.
I agree.
We're calling it BitFi summer. They're definitely going to be good.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. No, I love it.
It's
For real.
trending. Let's get it trending.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
but
Yeah.
I got a question for you about when you first decided, okay, we're gonna try to build something here in Bitcoin, and then your CTOs and your devs are looking at how things work here, and they're like, ugh, because like let's be honest, like from a technical level, right? And we don't have to get too technical here, but Bitcoin's limitations can be unattractive to developers. I think Casey did a big solid for the Bitcoin ecosystem by working around the limitations with ordinals and stuff like that and inscriptions. But still, from like a wallet developer and technical aspect, was there ever a moment that you and your team were like, "Oh, should we pivot out of this?" Or were you like, "We knew this was going to be like this. It was going to be hard. Let's just figure it out."
Yeah. So, great question. And the way that we looked at it is, if you're going to have an asset class or you're going to have some sort of asset to be used as payment, what's the most important thing that you want in for that type of asset? And for us, when we ranked and looked at this, it's security, right? So when you transfer value, it's built upon this concept of trust, and you want to store a value that's extremely secure. And if you look at the asset classes in the world, especially from a digital point today, I mean, no other chain is more secure than Bitcoin.
Sure.
And the fact that you have limited ability kind of influence that chain or the token itself, even with BRC20s or these meta protocols, is actually can be viewed as a positive thing because it's extremely secure. Because, like on Ethereum side, yeah, contracts could be hacked, tokens could be hacked, there could be backdoors, etc. So, when we think about store of value and kind of the basis of what currency should be, we think it's actually a great thing to be extremely secure. Now, obviously, the trade-off is it's going to have slower performance. But okay, let's think about this in Web 2 and real world today, right? A lot of people don't realize money gets settled much later than when you actually make a payment, right? And your proof of that payment is what? A receipt. So in theory, if Bitcoin is the most secure way to be able to transfer value, and your receipt lies on blockchain, and there's blockchain explorers, maybe it's a user experience type of issue we need to solve. But if we're comfortable in transferring value and money settling, hours or days, like when you trade a stock, then why can't we accept that sort of same model with Bitcoin if that user experience improves, knowing that that transaction is going to go through at some point, right? So we've always been very focused on just Bitcoin itself and going down this path versus trying to um, think that at some point, alternate chains would be better. We think that if builders can improve the UX to the point to where it just instills more trust, then the slow performance doesn't even matter, because that's how the world operates today with money and stock transfers. And there's a settlement layer, and it just takes time.
Yeah, I agree with that, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like that was very well broken down from like a logical standpoint of why maybe we don't even need OpCat. Like I was in our live stream earlier, I was like, it's time to release the opcode so we can get smart contract functionality, at least to be able to bridge out it in a more efficient way and bridge in. But as long as the UX continually gets better, and at least there's an option for sidechains to be able to let people take some of these Bitcoin layer ones if they choose to onto them and be degenerate, then they can do that. I think that's actually a really level-headed take.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And certainly I still support all of the development and all of this other stuff. And there's going to be a lot of solutions that come to market that not only improve UX, but even the performance, which is great, right? Love to see it. But yeah, if we even take just a traditional example of how stocks are settled, and settlement happens, in the background, a lot of people don't even realize this, right? And all of that's done kind of in a centralized database. Now we have the option to be able to do it, and it's even quicker than those folks because it's human driven. If we improve the UX and the entities that can trust each other, I think it makes huge headway for us in the industry in whole in Bitcoin.
Yeah,
That's
and
so true.
using AI as well, right? Like we don't really need smart contracts when we have AI, where they can kind of do a lot of the manual stuff. And you guys are kind of doing that right now, right? With the wallet, you guys have an AI kind of integrated right now. I was wondering if you can speak on that a little bit.
Yeah, so for us, we're huge on user experience, right? We think a lot of technology solves some really complex problems, but if you also can improve the user experience of any product and service, and it's not just what you see visually, right? It's also the process, just making it streamlined and super easy, then you solve a lot of problems. And one of the great things about AI, people think of AI as this notion of robots and all this futuristic and all that, but it's really quite simply being able to have what you need and data kind of at your fingertips, right? So even when we think about ChatGPT and all of that, be able to have computations happening in the background that gets you what you need exactly when you want it is extremely powerful, and AI has really helped accelerate that. So we thought about that concept, and we thought how value would be to be able to do the same thing in the world of finance. And so we're building our own language models to support our AI assistant, but in the realm of crypto and finance. And so some of the use cases that we think are super valuable for folks in this industry is, let's say, for example, you want to know the 24-hour trading volume on Coinbase. The current use case today is you have to go to find some data aggregator, maybe CoinMarketCap, et cetera, look up Coinbase, then look at their trading volume based upon their stats, et cetera. That takes time, right? And it's not easy, especially for the average consumer. So being able to ask the assistant that and get those results back very quickly is very powerful. Or being able to ask the assistant, okay, what was the price of this particular asset on this date? And having that data at your fingertips can be very powerful, especially if you're a trader. You don't have time to go and research all the. Where it starts to become even more powerful as it relates to your own personal data and transactions. So instead of let's say you want to know the last time you sent money to each other, like you, Shizzy, the last time you sent money Bitcoin to Yagobi. Instead of going through your transaction history and looking on a blockchain explorer, which is very daunting and too technical for the average consumer, especially on Bitcoin, being able to ask your assistant, hey, when did I last send money to Yagobi? And being able to get that at your fingertips becomes really powerful. And then we even envision this world where instead of pointing and clicking and tapping on the screen to send a transaction, you can use your voice to be able to do it. Similar to if you had a real life assistant and say, um, hey, send $200 Bitcoin to shizzy.sats. And then you get immediately taken to your confirmation screen. So we actually already have a working MVP of this technology out. We've been building it for a while. One of my close friends is also kind of an advisor. We don't have any formal advisors, but really good friend. She was previously the VP at API.ai, and then they got acquired by Google and got integrated to the Google Cloud team. So super experienced in the AI space. But we've been working together with some of our devs to be able to create this technology, and we're super excited to be able to bring it to the wallet because it changes the game from a user experience perspective. Instead of kind of tapping around and having to spend minutes or even longer to try to do what I was mentioning to you, to be able to get that information just by chatting with an assistant becomes super powerful.
Dude, I love that. I love that idea of being able to send the $500. I owe Yagobi, please. Yagobi.sats. That would be amazing. That'd be awesome.
Well,
Really cool.
yeah. Well, if the way that we look at the world is in the future, we're going to be, I mean, it's already happening. You could speak to your appliances. There's devices, AR headsets, and all this other stuff. The power of voice and that technology is getting much, much better, much more sophisticated. So in the future, we'll be interacting with devices, and point and click is going to be a very antiquated way of interacting. So to be able to kind of support that and do it in the realm of finance, we think is going to be pretty special.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Do you guys plan on adding like a security layer, like voice recognition or biometrics in some way to be able to, I guess, confirm before sending out to like
Oh yeah.
shizzy.sats? Okay.
Yeah, 100%. There's always going to be an extra, like two-factor authentication in some way that even if you get to the confirmation, you'll have the option of, instead of like when you press confirm, you'll have an option if you want in your settings to do an extra level of authentication, which could include like receiving a SMS or
Biometrics, maybe
what-
like with your thumb.
yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
could
we're
work.
we're building a side app to where it's an extra authentication layer to, let's say, in your wallet, if you decide to get to your confirmation screen and you want an extra layer of security, it'll prompt on your phone, and then you have to authenticate through your phone
Yeah.
confirm.
Yeah.
And then,
Because
I
that'd
love that.
still be so much easier. Because if I'm like, hey, send 0.00001 Bitcoin to, because I ain't sending you a full Bitcoin to Shizzy.sats. And then the only step I have to do is put my fingerprint on there or my retina or whatever. I think it's way easier than me like copying your address, putting it in there, and then like doing all the steps. So I still think it would be
and the
really, really
technology is
efficient.
maturing, right? Yeah, the technology is maturing to the point to where, I mean, in the future, everyone's going to have a readable human wallet address name.
Yeah,
It's
I agree.
it's getting there already. And then on top of that, I mean, technology is here in place today where a human, especially the average consumer, shouldn't have to convert. And I don't know about you guys, but when I send a transaction, I have to look and see and convert and all this. Like it's a pain in the ass, right? And sometimes it's a bit gives me anxiety. But yeah, if you can just speak just in real life, right? Yeah, send $200 or 200 euros or whatever.
Yeah, I use a BitConvert app every time, and I'm gonna make sure I put the right amount of zeros and
Yes,
all that
right.
stuff. So, yeah,
Yeah.
man. So, you guys are not just the wallet. You're not just an AI assistant, right? You guys are building so much more over there. You got to get into what else you guys are building in Orange.
Yeah, so part of our strategy. So we initially started off just focused on the wallet and so on, and we were thinking about this. And even though the landscape is still very wide open, we were thinking, okay, from a competitive standpoint, how do we make it sticky? How do we draw people into Orange in order to gain stronger wallet adoption? Meanwhile, also help builders in the space and do our part in helping expand the space further. So when we thought about that, we created this strategy where we were like, you know what, let's build some extra tooling that help consumers be able to access information or do other valuable things within the Bitcoin ecosystem. Meanwhile, also allow other builders to leverage these tools to further expand the space. Like if they want to use our APIs, which are free, to be able to create other solutions and just kind of further development on Bitcoin, then so be it. So when we thought about that, we started creating some additional products and services that we thought, okay, let's say, for example, someone's not a user of our wallet today, but maybe they decide to use one of our other products. And if we can build a great experience with them and build trust with them, maybe then they'll be pulled into our ecosystem and then they'll be a user of our wallet. So with that strategy, we started building, we have our own data aggregator, similar to kind of CoinMarketCap, but specifically Bitcoin focused only. And we aggregate not just your traditional Bitcoin tokens and stuff, but we've integrated BRC20s, SRC20s, ARC20s, runes, because even CoinMarketCap doesn't have that, right? So we pull in and we're able to aggregate a lot of data across the industry for all of these meta protocols. And we want to provide that not only for consumers, but for developers in the form of API. We have our own Bitcoin Explorer. And even when you think about Bitcoin Explorers that are out there today, a lot of them don't support meta protocols. And so we're doing that. We have our bridge that's currently in beta. So it's a whole suite of products that we just want to be able to use and then eventually also roll up into the wallet to the extent to where you have within kind of this dApp all the services that you would need in order to easily manage your assets.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. So when you guys are building stuff, obviously you guys come into a lot of problems and stuff. What kind of problems are you guys like over there thinking and wish could be solved for the infrastructure of Bitcoin? Like, is there anything out there you guys are thinking like, oh wow, we wish somebody would work on that?
Yeah. So great question. You know, in whole, this is my personal standpoint, I wish there was more development specifically focused on Bitcoin natively as the L1. We've seen over the past over the past 6 months, a lot of people, when the market recovers, you start seeing a lot of so-called builders come into the space. And there's been a lot of energy and excitement around L2s. There's and what we've found to date is, I mean, there's no serious players in that space yet because what a lot of them are doing is they're just basically forking Ethereum as an EVM, and then they build a bridge that kind of bridges over. And while that's great, I mean, it's you're basically we're just working on another alternative chain. So we would love to see more experimentation and building on L1, the stuff that Domo's doing, BRC 2.0 that's coming about in the near future. Super excited about what Domo and his team are building. Even the Layer 1 Foundation that he's helped leading, and the ability to do some really creative indexing is super exciting. And then obviously what Casey has done with runes and all this other stuff. So yeah, my wish would be is just more of the building that's happening natively on Bitcoin.
Great answer.
Yeah.
Great answer.
Yeah, I think we're going to see obviously the BRC20 modular system kind of released. That's going to be interesting, and then also the TAP protocol ecosystem, with the TAP promises and stuff. So I think there's some stuff coming. I hope it is as effective as what's been said. That's my thing too. I'm with you on that. When things are bullish, or there's projects that are speaking about what they're building, a lot of times there's deadlines that are missed, but that's understandable. We get it. Like, we've interviewed enough devs to understand the problems that y'all run into, right? But I think more than that is just the capability of what they're promising. The DeFi on Layer 1, we know that is a really, really hard task. Yes. But from what the modular system is showing, there's promise there. And I think TAP probably took a couple things from that and said, okay, let's think about programmability from the meta protocol level down. And then, because we can't change anything with Bitcoin Core, but what we can change is the programmability of the meta protocol. So that's what I'm excited to see from a Bitcoin native layer type of progress.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And that's why we're so excited working with builders, even like Benny and his team. I think TAP is going to have a lot of potential as well. In fact, I think they're undervalued, especially with what they're executing. And there's huge support in that ecosystem as well, right? So Sora Ventures is really helping lead some great energy and excitement around there. They have their own TAP focused fund. I think you're going to see a lot of projects being developed on their protocol. And we're still early. We're still kind of in this experimentation phase. And so I'm really curious to see what's going to continue to come about. I remember 6 months ago or so where BRC20s had just popped off on their second wave. Yeah. And then like a week later, there was CBRC 20s.
Yeah.
There was XRC 20s, so yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting and dope to see what comes out, especially this next bull run.
Well, I got one last question on my side. So Casey came out with a tweet that said, let's maybe, put some of the capital behind centralized Layer 1 applications, because not everything needs to be just decentralized. He gave an example of his barber and how that business is centralized and stuff. But you made a comment earlier about how, like, in traditional world that, like, centralized entities are settling like the stocks and stuff like that, right? And it's always like centralized and then centralized behind that. This is like a possibility to where, like, the new model of even TradFi, they might move over, but like the final settlement layer is decentralized with Bitcoin, right? But are you okay with having centralized entities and businesses built on Bitcoin, but they're centralized? Are you okay with that?
1000%. I'm so glad you brought that up, because I actually think that's where the huge opportunity comes from. So I love DeFi. I love what it represents. I love the concept. I love self-sovereignty. But let's face it, the majority of the world, it's probably not safe for them to manage, especially large amounts of wealth, in a DeFi manner, right? Or even self-custody for that matter. So I think we need to live in a world where it's almost a hybrid model. You have solutions that are extremely DeFi oriented. You have some that are obviously driven by centralized entities. But I think where the opportunity really exists, because it helps from a user experience perspective, is this hybrid model where you kind of play in the sandbox of both realms. And I truly believe over the next bull run, we're going to see companies, including ourselves, come out with solutions that are kind of this hybrid. They play within kind of the centralized sandbox, as well as leverage the power of blockchain, especially from a DeFi perspective, in order to help with settlement or help in providing some sort of solutions that earn you some sort of yield, whatever the case may be. So I think that's where the real opportunity exists. And on top of that, I mean, look, at the end of the day, we have to create businesses. In order for any of this to be sustainable, you have to generate revenue, right?
Yeah.
And traditionally in crypto, we've been very speculative. But at some point, I think we're going to hit an inflection point to where people are going to realize, okay, projects are going to generate revenue, one, in order to survive, but then two, add value to the actual holders. I eventually think tokens and crypto, they're going to blur on the lines of securities, and we're going to see this model where jurisdictions accept the ability for folks to distribute power and ownership to holders. And so we'll start seeing more models where companies are rewarding their holders with revenue. That's going to be acceptable in some jurisdictions. And so in order to do that, you have to be a legitimate business that generates revenue. And up until this day, the majority of the utility and folks that generate revenue in our space are centralized exchanges, right? But I think that's going to change. I think it's going to be necessary for a lot of projects in order to survive. They have to come up with some sort of revenue model, be able to generate revenue, and then from there, I predict we'll see models where these companies are going to start sharing, some of that revenue or rewards back to their holders, et cetera. And that's going to be an accepted model, and that's only going to be accomplished by having this hybrid model of both centralized and decentralized systems integrated together.
Yeah.
Because we can't, the reality is we can't onboard 8 billion consumers just into DeFi solutions. That's just not feasible. That's not going to happen.
I agree. I think that was like the dream of decentralization initially, but like the final settlement layer and it being Bitcoin to me is like, it solves a lot of problems, right? Especially if there's regulatory agencies that are supposed to be doing their jobs with these companies. They can audit them, make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do from a centralized entity. But then at the end of the day, like those transactions have to be settled on Bitcoin, and no one controls that, right? So that's where the trust is kind of, okay, you let Bitcoin handle that, then someone can check the transactions and all that stuff. So I think that's going to be like a really successful crypto environment in like the next like 10 to 20 years.
Yeah. And I think that's the road that we're heading down. I think you can make great points there. I mean, look, even centralized exchanges today in crypto, let's say Coinbase, the transactions and trades that you're actually doing, they're not on the blockchain.
Yeah.
Right? They're on a centralized database, and then they get settled later when there's withdrawals and deposits, and centralized exchanges run on the notion of almost fractionalized banking. So I actually anticipate, the largest banks and financial institutions will run a similar model in the future. Chase Bank will probably support Bitcoin deposits in the future as well. And all of that will be ran by some sort of centralized database and settled on the blockchain much later. So, if it's done that way and the user experience is sufficient, the whole notion around Bitcoin being too slow and all this doesn't matter as long as it's secure and it eventually will settle. So
does its job.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, great answer. As long as it starts with Bitcoin and ends with Bitcoin, and anything else in the middle really doesn't matter. So I love that answer.
Yeah.
My next question is kind of a more fun question. What are some assets you're holding in your personal portfolio? Got any node monks, any puppets? What are you holding?
Yeah, no, I'm not too deep in that space. I have a couple. I follow, obviously, Node Monks, but by the time that those popped off, they got a bit too
They
rich
got too
for me.
high.
Yeah.
They got yeah. They popped off really quick.
Frogs, man, ribbit. You got it. That I feel like that's the value play.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Hey,
because
there's some alpha for you. I'm gonna have to jump on that. So I love what Trevor and that team has done with the
Pizza
Bitcoin
Ninjas.
Ninjas. Yeah, and I'm a fan of the art and stuff like that as well. So got a Pizza Ninja, and then OMBs, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Those are dope as well.
The
But yeah,
OGs,
I'm not as deep as probably you guys. You guys probably have a whole art collection, yeah.
Yeah, we're a little degenerate when it comes to ordinals, to say the
Nice.
least. But the Pizza Ninjas are, we had Boozy on the show. He's the artist behind Trevor's Pizza Ninjas. Amazing.
Yeah.
That's one thing we love here. We love the art. We love all that stuff. Obviously, we love coins. We love everything's happening with that.
Right.
But really comes down to it's the art and being on the blockchain forever. You're not doing that with ETH. You're not doing that with other EVM, because at the end of the day, it's all sitting on Amazon Web Services. And here we actually implement it into the chain, which is why we believe in it so much. But absolutely great job, Damon. You killed it, man. One of the best interviews we had in a while. This is part of the show where we kind of give you the stage to talk to our community. The next couple minutes are all yours. The stage is yours.
Yeah, hey, I appreciate it, guys. Appreciate the time. Always love being able to kick it with folks that are deeply passionate about this space. Obviously, you guys are very experienced, very knowledgeable, and really sincere thanks to you guys for helping us really provide more exposure and excitement in this space as well. So thank you guys for what you guys do. I'm not going to shill Orange, but if anyone wants to find out more information about us, just visit orangecrypto.com. If you want to download our wallet, you can go to orangewallet.com, find all the information there as well. But I would just say, for anyone that's looking or has been in this space, right, I think this bull run, this next market, is going to be transformational as it really impacts traditional finance. And so for those that may not know much about Bitcoin or crypto or anything, I highly recommend you get involved and learn as much as you can about it, especially as it relates to DeFi on Bitcoin, because I think what's going to come about over the next couple of years is going to be the foundation and framework for a lot of how we interact and transfer value for the next few decades to come. So highly recommend everyone jump in this space, learn as much as you can, get immersed, because we're super early. All right. I think we're still scratching the surface of the potential of what blockchain brings and represents. And so there's tons of opportunity for folks to really take advantage of it. And again, shout out to you guys. Thanks for all you guys do, because, we need folks like yourselves in order to really help us continue to drive adoption and education in the space.
Awesome. Hey, man, no problem. We love it. We do this. We do this every day. We did it for free for an entire year. We just love it that much. But yeah, man. But thank you again. Yeah, we appreciate you, Damon, and we can look forward to the next one. We go live Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. Eastern time. If you ever want to hop on the live, just come in and say hi. Just hit me a DM. I'll send you the link in the morning. But thank you.
Yeah, sounds good, brother. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
All right, talk to you soon.
Absolutely amazing. He's very well spoken. Great job by him, man. What do you think? Your final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I love these type of interviews or discussions, is because I'm learning too, and I like to get deep into the weeds with it and stuff. And it was fun, and I'm a lot more bullish on Orange after that. I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm not gonna lie. I am. So I'm gonna be doing a little bit more, my due diligence and with the project. I downloaded the wallet. The wallet looks super clean. We should probably do a breakdown on that wallet too, just for our audience as well. Education is huge here, and I feel like that people that watch this discussion is going to get some education for sure.
100%. I agree with all that. That's the show, guys. I really appreciate you guys watching. Check out ordinalrevolution.com. We have some of the best articles there, guys. Check that out. And then if you're interested in the store, we have a store there as well with some of the best Ordinals merch. And if you're going to Bitcoin Nashville, we do have a 21% off coupon on the website. Click that. We will be in Bitcoin Nashville, so come down and meet us. And appreciate you guys. And we'll see you guys next time.
Peace.
Ordinal Revolution. Let's go.